Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ifoma. So in today's episode we'll be making this beautiful bustier milkmaid top. So we're actually making only the pattern today, so tomorrow we are going to post the sewing of this top. So if this looks like what you're interested in, keep watching. So to begin, I already drew out my lines: the shoulder line, the bust line, the under bust line, and the top length. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to take the neck measurement, and we are going out by 3 inches, and we're going deep by 3 inches also. So this is just the basic neck measurement. So I'm just going to draft it on this pattern, even though we don't actually need it for the top, but to make sure that we understand better, that's why we are drafting out this neck line. Okay, so after that, the next thing we are going to do is to take our shoulder measurement. Okay, you take our shoulder, we divide it by 2, and then we make a point, a mark there. Then we come down from the shoulder line by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. We also make a point there. Then we connect that point to the neck line. Okay, when we are done connecting that point, the next thing we are going to do is our armhole measurement. Okay, so we are going to divide our bust measurement by 6 inches as usual to get our armhole measurement. Okay, so after we're done dividing it, whatever we got as the answer, we are going to add 1.5 inches to it. That is how we get our armhole measurement. So we are going to connect this line, the shoulder slope line, to the new point we just made. We're going to connect it with a straight line. So after that, that new point is going to be our chest line. So we're also going to connect it with a straight line to the center of our fabric. So after we're done doing that, we're just going to label this line. This one is my chest line, this one is my bust line, the under bust line, and the top length, which is the waist line. Okay, and of course the shoulder line, which is at the top of this paper. So after that, the next thing we are going to do is to find the midpoint of this our armhole line, and we're going to come in by 1/2 inch. So we do this in almost all of our pattern drafting, so we should be used to it by now. The next thing I'm going to do is to divide our bust measurement by 4. We're going to impute the measurement, and then we are going to connect this point, and the other point together with our curve rule. So here we're just making our armhole line. Okay, so this is our armhole curve like this, because you know the front of our armhole is not straight. The next thing I'm going to do is to put our darts, and to get my dart, I'm going to take my nipple to nipple measurement, divide it by 2, and then we are going to impute the measurement on our chest line, the bust line, the under bust line, and of course the waistline, which is the full length of the top. Then I'm going to connect the dots together with a straight line. So when I was done doing that, on the waistline, I'm going to go in and out with 1/2 inch, and also on the bust line, then I'm going to connect these 2 dots with a straight line. So when I was done doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my curve rule to connect that point to the bust line. Okay, you can use your free hand if you don't have this curve rule. Just make sure it's properly curved to the bust line. So after I was done doing that, I'm going to come up to the chest line. Okay, so I'm going to come up from the chest line by 1/2 inch or 1 inch. You can come up with 2 inch depending on how covered and how busty you are, but because I'm not so busty, I'm going to come up by 1/2 inch. Okay, so, and I'm going to connect that 1/2 inch with a straight line to the center of the cloth. So this is going to be our new chest line now. Then on that new chest line, we are going to go out, in and out by 1/2 inch, and then we're going to use our curve rule to connect this new dot to our bust line. All right, so this small bust we have here, this small bustier we have here is going to be the upper part. Okay, and this place you see me drafting up like this is going to be the band. Okay, so from our other bust, under bust to the top length, to the top length line is going to be the band of this top, and then this small bustier there is going to be the upper part. It's going to actually be the lining of the upper part. Okay, so next thing we are going to do is to input our waist measurements on the top length. We are going to put our waist measurement divided by 4. Then we are going to replace this 1 inch we took for the dart. We are going to replace it, then we connect the dot. All right, remember you have not added our sewing allowance. We are going to add it when we are cutting exactly on our fabric. So now you can decide to divide your shoulder measurements into 2 and then connect to the new chest line anyhow you want to. Just know that it's going to be the same thing because you're not making use of that yoke. So I just decided to do it for those that might get confused why I did not draw that line. Okay, this one is not necessary because we are not using the yoke. We are only using from the chest down to the top of the top length. Okay, now I'm going to cut out, and I'm going to cut from the new chest line to the under bust. I'm going to cut that one separate, and I'm going to cut out the band also. So now you might want to pay attention to see exactly where I'm cutting. I'm just cutting out the band right now. So after cutting out the band, the next thing I did is to fold away the dart. Okay, because we are not going to put that on the band. It's just a band. We are not going to put that. So I'm just going to fold away the band, and that is how I'm going to use it to trace on my fabric. So the next thing I'm doing now, I'm going to trace out this exact bustier. I'm going to trace it out, this exact upper part. I'm going to trace that into two different papers. Okay, so I folded my pattern paper into 2, and I'm just going to trace it out. Okay, one is going to be for the slash and spread, and one is going to be for the back. Okay, so what I did is I added a 1 inch zip allowance to one of the pieces, because one is going to be for the back and the other one is going to be for the slash and spread. So I added a 1 inch allowance to the one that is supposed to be for the back. Okay, this one you see me labeling now is the one that's supposed to be for the back, so I added a 1 inch allowance to it. And then the other one is one I'm going to use for slash and spread for the front. So this is the band. I decided not to cut it out again on a pattern paper because I'm going to put it exactly on my top, on my fabric, and I'm going to cut it once. Okay, so I'm going to fold it into 4, and I'm going to add a 1 inch sewing allowance to it for the zipper at the back. Okay, all right, so for the front, for the one we cut for the slash and spread for the front, we are going to divide it by 1 inch. Okay, we are going to mark 1 inch till the end of the pieces. We are going to mark 1 inch, and then we are going to draw a straight line. We are going to demarcate the 1 inch with a straight line. Just look closely, we are going to understand what we are doing. So after that, the next thing we are going to do is to label it. We're going to label number 1, 2, 3 till the end of the pieces. So here we have 8 pieces, and after that we're going to cut out each piece. So on our actual fabric, we are going to place the back pattern. This one is for the back. I folded my fabric into two and I pinned the back pattern. Okay, now when we are cutting this out, we are going to be adding our sewing allowance. On the top, we add 0.5 inch, on the side we add 1 inch, and on the lower part we also add 0.5 inch. All right, this is for the sewing allowance, and we are going to cut out the back. So on the armhole, note I'm not adding anything on the armhole. So here I'm just cutting out the bustier for the front. This one is going to serve as the lining, okay, because the one at the top is the slash and sprayed one. Okay, this one is going to serve as the lining. I'm also going to pin it on our fabric, add the necessary allowances, and I'm going to cut it out. Always remember to add your sewing allowance. So for the pieces, now we are going to place our pieces on our fabric while our fabric is still unfold. Okay, we are going to place the pieces and we are going to give a space between each piece. We are going to give a 1 inch space between each piece. Okay, that is what you see me doing. So I'm placing all the pieces. I'm going to place all of them till I get to the last one, and I'm going to give a 1 inch space in between each of the pieces. And just like we did for other parts, we are also going to add our allowances. Half an inch on the top and on the bottom, and then 1 inch at the side. And we are not adding anything for the armhole. So this is what it looks like when we are done. And on the band, we are going to fold our fabric into four. We're going to fold our fabric into 4 places. So this band, we are not going to shape it at the side. We are going to cut it as a 1-piece band. Okay, so we are going to fold our fabric into 4, and we are going to add only the zip allowance for the back. Okay, that means that when you fold your fabric into 4, you're not going to add any other allowance aside from the zip allowance you're going to add at the back. Please take note, you're not adding any allowance on the side because we're not shaping it on the side. It's going to be a 1-piece band. And we're also going to give necessary allowances to the band. On the upper part, we are giving 0.5, on the down part 0.5, and on the side we are giving 1 inch for the zip allowance. So we are going to cut 2 of this band. One is going to be for the lining of the band, and the other one is going to be the actual band. So that is all for this video. So this one is the band, and this the other one is going to serve as the lining. All right, so this is all for this video. Tomorrow the video of me sewing this beautiful top is going to drop on this same channel. All right, so do come back to check out that video. And that tomorrow we are also going to draft out the hand of the top. Okay, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.